Good morning, reefers. I'm Daniel from Coralust. In my last video, I gave you some basic information on how to set up a reef tank and some basic equipment that you're going to need to get that tank going. Today I'm going to discuss more about tank maintenance and servicing that equipment and the different types of corals and the needs that you may have acquired. In the beginning, you don't have a high demand for calcium, magnesium, and keeping your alkalinity stable isn't really hard at all. But as you acquire these corals, these demands and needs have changed. So soft corals are among the easiest to keep because they require less lighting and they don't have a high demand for calcium because they have no skeleton. SPS and LPS corals are a little bit harder because they do have that high demand for calcium, and the bigger the colony, the quicker they're growing, the more calcium and nutrients that they're going to suck up out of the water. So you have to remember too, without correct levels of magnesium, your calcium will precipitate out of the water, so you'll may be wondering why you're dosing all this calcwiser in your top off and you can't seem to get your levels up. Some things to consider when choosing your coral is how do you plan on meeting the needs or nutrients of your new tank inhabitants. Success is our goal, so doing your research ahead of time will drastically improve your chances of having a thriving tank. If you choose water changes as your main source of removing waste and adding nutrition and nutrients, then you want a good salt. Make sure you get a great reef crystals or something that will provide proper levels of calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, iodine, and some trace elements. Mixing your salt ahead of time with RODI water is very beneficial. Using a heater and aerating it can help improve and raise your ORP and pH. Check your water. Sometimes when you get your RODI water in, before you mix with salt, the pH is 7. So just check it. You want to raise it up and make it as easy to transition for your fish and corals when you're doing water changes. If you choose dosing is great because they do offer a wide range of products nowadays. Two-part, you can set them up with an automatic dosing machine. Once you figure out what you need and the requirements for your corals, it's not too hard. Some people will also use a caulk stirrer with their auto top off. I personally haven't had success with this method, but if you choose it, do your research. Calcium reactor may be more beneficial in the long run. Calcium reactor uses media inside a chamber and will slowly flow tank water through the chamber and using CO2 to lower the pH inside that chamber, melting and dissolving that media. I prefer to use crushed coral aragonite because when you release the nutrients, it's perfectly balanced because it's a skeleton of a coral. So it provides the best nutrients, I think, the most well balanced, and it has iodine, so I don't even have to dose that. Besides just worrying about if your calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium is stable and your corals are receiving the proper nutrients they deserve, you also have to make sure that they're not getting too much nitrates or phosphates in the water. And these tend to build up over time, especially with heavy feeding, depending on how much fish you have and how much food you're putting in the tank. So testing your water is important because I've seen people who have good water quality, but their corals are dying and they may panic and want to do water changes or dose something, when in reality it was just a bad lighting schedule, bad coral placement, or they weren't getting the proper water flow. Water flow is so important because not only does it bring nutrients to the corals, it also removes waste and detritus, which could build up on the corals and suffocate them. Control types, water changes are great, but denitrating media and reactors, biopellets, vodka dosing. In conclusion, the key here is to keep your tank's water as stable as possible for your tank's inhabitants. If we can prevent a problem from arising just by doing routine checks and maintenance, the chance of us losing any fish or coral is going to go down. Success is our goal, and we all want to have a thriving tank. And as always, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I appreciate any feedback and hope to have another video for you soon. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.